All right, I've got an update for you, and it's almost too crazy to believe. But according to Oklahoma City Police, it is reasonable and within the scope of their policy and their police training to aggressively manhandle a 110-pound, 71-year-old, 5'3" cancer patient, even if it means violently slamming that man to the ground and inflicting him with the serious injuries of an orbital fracture, a broken neck, and a brain bleed. This is the interaction this past year between Oklahoma City police officer Sergeant Joseph Gibson and 71-year-old Orig Vid. And believe it or not, Oklahoma AG drops the charges against this officer who threw this man to the ground, almost killing him. The Oklahoma Attorney General on Friday announced he was dismissing criminal charges brought against the police officer who slammed a 71-year-old man to the ground during a routine traffic stop. Attorney General Gentner Drummond said in a statement he was dropping the aggravated assault and battery charge brought by Oklahoma County District Attorney Vicky Bahena against Oklahoma City Police Sergeant Joseph Gibson. Body camera footage from the October 27th incident shows Gibson stop Orig Vid, 71, for what he said was an illegal U-turn after a minor accident. In the video, Vid denied making the U-turn and said his car was hit by another person. The video shows Gibson asking Vid to sign the citation, which he refused to do, and Vid eventually got out of his car and the two began arguing. According to the security footage from a nearby business, Vid appeared to just lightly touch Gibson's arm, prompting him to grab Vid's hand, pull it behind his back, and throw him onto the ground. The video footage showed Vid hit the pavement head first, and I mean hard. He was hospitalized with significant injuries, including an orbital fracture, neck fracture, and brain bleed. Vid's condition on Friday was not immediately clear, and the Attorney General said, "As Attorney General, I will not permit Oklahoma police officers to face criminal prosecution for conduct adhering to their training." If this is conduct adhering to the training of Oklahoma police officers, we've got a serious problem, because what they're saying is this action right here is within protocol. This is acceptable. This is what we train our officers to do. This is how we train our officers to treat the public. And if that's not concerning, what is? While the outcome of this incident is unquestionably devastating for Mr. Vid and his family, I do not believe the officer exhibited criminal intent. If this intent or not, if this isn't criminal, there's no such thing as criminal. The statement added that it is, quote, never acceptable for a member of the public to strike, push, or otherwise make unwanted physical contact with a police officer. That's not acceptable, but this is acceptable? And you're going to drop the charges on this? I mean, like, what kind of person do you have to be to do that? He said, quote, our law enforcement officers work under constant stress where the most routine interactions can become life-threatening in an instant. We operate under constant stress with people like Joseph Gibson on the scene, ready to aggressively abuse us at every turn. Who's got the greater level of stress on them? For everyone's sake, it is imperative to follow an officer's instructions and to never strike, push, or make any kind of unwelcome physical contact with an officer. The simple truth is, this unfortunate incident never would have occurred if Mr. Vid had kept his hands to himself. This is classic psychopathy, victim blaming. The victim gets blamed for the injury inflicted by the victimizer. Despite the charge being dropped, the AG said the incident is still being investigated internally and could result in non-criminal forms of accountability for Sergeant Gibson. In response, the county district attorney said that she's surprised and disappointed that the attorney general took this case away from my office and the citizens of Oklahoma County. The statement from Drummond's office noted that he entered an appearance in the case on Monday, quote, effectively taking over the prosecution. The Oklahoma City Fraternal Order of Police said in a statement that it agrees wholeheartedly with Drummond's reasoning and determination that this was not a criminal act. And check this out. The Fraternal Order of Police says no officer wants to see anyone injured. However, our members often have to make split decisions, and they cannot control the outcome of every situation. This was an outcome that was totally controlled by Joseph Gibson. Unfortunately, when someone resists law enforcement, they increase the risk of harm to themselves or others. The victim increases the chances of being harmed by the victimizer if the victimizer is following the police protocol to aggressively abuse a 71-year-old, 110-pound, 5'3" cancer patient. That's what the Oklahoma City Police is telling the rest of us. Hey, if we did this to Mr. Vu, we gonna do it to you. The group added that it was unreasonable to charge him, that's the sergeant, with any crime when he was following his training. Sergeant Joseph, I just want to reiterate, this right here is Sergeant Joseph Gibson from the Oklahoma City Police Department following training. He's doing exactly what he was told to do. And that's why we call them conformists, because they do what they're told regardless of what is right, rather than doing right regardless of what they're told. And that is a dangerous man, because order followers are the most dangerous people that walk the face of the earth. Gibson's attorney, former Attorney General Mike Hunter, said in a statement that the decision to drop charges against his client was reasoned and correct. Drummond's, quote, statement of support for the complex decisions Sergeant Gibson, his fellow OCPD officers, and law enforcement officers around the state must make is acknowledged and appreciated. So just to reiterate, dropping charges against this action right here is reasoned and correct.
It all started with a traffic stop.
I'll have to write you a ticket for improper U-turn.
Oklahoma City Police releasing video from October 27th when Lit Vu was pulled over.
She hitting me.
The officer telling Vu to sign for a ticket, but he refused, trying to explain what unfolded along this stretch of road off Northwest 39th Expressway.
If you don't sign this, you go to jail, okay?
Yeah,
I don't want to take you to jail.
I'm ready to go to jail.
You ready to go to jail?
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
After giving another driver involved a ticket, the officer came back to Vu and his wife, standing in a parking lot. Another angle shows the encounter from store surveillance. You can see Vu touching the officer's arm, then exchanging words before being thrown to the ground. This is the view from the officer's body camera.
Sit up.
No.
You sit up. Get on the ground.
I feel like that's pretty excessive for a police officer to think like a old 71-year-old man could actually intentionally hurt him.
Toon Nguyen, president-elect for the Vietnamese American community of Oklahoma, says Vu speaks English, but a language barrier escalated the situation.
You shouldn't argue with the cop and you shouldn't speak back, but in certain cases I feel like we should be able to be given an opportunity to hear our side of the story before a citation gets issued.
Nguyen says members of the Vietnamese community spoke with Oklahoma City Police and the chief before the video was released. Forewarned, it was significant. There's ongoing talks with the department to possibly add equipment to officers' uniforms so incidents like these don't happen again.
They're gonna try to
add more equipment to the uniforms, and that's going to stop this right here. Even if you gave anti-aggressive and de-escalation training, is it really even going to help? Do these cops even care? Does the Fraternal Order of Police care? Does the Attorney General care at all?
invest in language translation services for the police officer when they're approaching a person that has a language barrier.
Just to reiterate, that conduct adheres to Oklahoma City police training. Do something crazy like lightly tap them and you can expect an orbital fracture, a broken neck, a brain bleed, and possibly a lot worse from the Oklahoma City Police Department. I'll leave the link to the Oklahoma City Police Department Facebook page in the description below, which also contains their public phone number. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comment section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. That's highimpactflix.com. If you want to support the channel further, become a channel member, grab a shirt, but more importantly, flex your rights, stand for your rights. If you don't use your rights, you will lose them. I will see you in the next video.